Okay. So on Monday, we were talking about, we started to talk about the effort. And we touched a bit on the overall of effort in the sense of the right exertion or right effort. Then there are 4 types of effort, to prevent the unwholesome states from arising. The effort to abandon the unwholesome states already arisen, and the effort also to arouse those states that's not arisen yet, those wholesome states not arisen yet. And the 4th one, the effort to sustain and develop, to sustain and maintain the wholesome states that already arisen. Yeah. There are many ways we can talk about effort. In so many ways, we can touch it on dana, you can touch on sila, you can touch it on everything. Because every wholesome act, wholesome speech and wholesome thoughts, they are all comes with effort. So there's a lot we can talk. But we're going to confine the effort here towards the meditation part. Now, when we discuss about this faculty of effort, then again, this is not a beginner's effort, not a beginner's meditation. The faculty of effort and also concentration, or all those other all the 5 faculties and powers, normally you will come to a meditation retreat, which you do it intensively, and it will kind of like takes you about 10 days for average, 10 days, in order for the mind to come up to its optimum level of meditation. Then only then, the balancing of the faculties are easier to be seen. Or you are exercising the balancing of the faculties. Normally, on the first day, second day, there's nothing much to balance. It's all about arousing only, because in the first place, there's nothing much of mindfulness, nothing much of concentration, nothing much of everything. So you take so some people take about a week just to arouse it. And while the 1 week you're arousing it, then you know that at the same time the defilements or the hindrances will come in and disrupt the whole meditation. So normally if you come in for a week of meditation only, if you're past retreats, if you come in for just 1 week of retreat, you think that you have done a lot, Not to say you don't do anything, if you meditate, still good. But the thing is that you haven't seen how faculties are working, how the faculties needs to be balanced in this way and that way. So it takes you about 7 days, 10 days of truly into the meditation. Then subsequent days, then only you are actually trying to balance a lot everything. And that is where another stage of learning, another stage of mental development takes place, where the faculties comes in. If you're unable to balance these faculties, then by experience too, and which I saw it in other yogis, that they get stuck. They get stuck. Not only they get stuck, they give up on meditation completely. Give up. because when the mind goes into a lot of this imbalance of the faculties, then they do not know how to deal with those things. They give up. Because there are other things that's coming in that makes the whole meditation very discouraging. So hopefully y'all don't, not hopefully, y'all will come into that stage. All of us will come into that stage. It's a matter of whether you know how to manage them through and keep rolling the mental development. So one of the things is this, one of the things that yogis fall out from vipassana, one of the things is the imbalance of these faculties. There are other things also that yogis fall out from vipassana, like pain, like the hindrances, anything that is unpleasant and so on, unsatisfied, because you are seeing a lot of things unsatisfactory. Those things for the yogis will eventually they will give up. So only like all these things, it will filter. Then only a few of the yogis will pass through. So that few, hopefully it's you. Hopefully in the future, it's all of you that you can able to go through. And here we need to know the way that how to come into the balance and so on and so forth. All right. Now let us look into we share the screen. Now in the last week, on Monday, you can see, all right. Now Monday, we were talking about the effort. We are talking about all this right exertion and so on. Now here we're going to look into it a little bit more. Here, effort, viriya, it literally means a state of a strong man or a hero. From the word vira. In the Malay word also, in the Malay language also, we use the vira for a person who is a hero, So, well, this Pali, Sanskrit, they are very connected to the Malay language too. So viriya, sometimes it's translated as heroic effort. Heroic effort, especially like Sayadaw Pandita loves to use this one. They use the word heroic effort. Now, viriya here, when we talk about viriya, we are talking about the mental effort part of it. Although the physical effort, the strength, have a condition for the mental effort, but here we are looking mostly at the mental effort. And we're going to develop this mental effort into its optimum level, into a balanced level. Now, effort here. Here, when we look at effort, not as a faculty, let's say, effort as a cetasika or as a mental factor, then effort here, it can be wholesome or unwholesome. If for our level, it can be wholesome or it can be unwholesome. Wholesome in the sense that if it's connected with wholesome mental states, then it becomes wholesome. For example, if it's connected with mindfulness, or it connected with wisdom, or it connected with saddha or conviction or faith, then it becomes right effort. In the sense that it becomes a right effort, it becomes wholesome. But effort also, when it's connected, for example, with sensual desire or anger, then this effort becomes an unwholesome effort. So whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, their characteristic function, how they manifest, all the same. Okay? Now let us look into it. Now, here the nature or the characteristic of the nature of effort is to support, is to exert, to keep pushing. And the function is to support its associated states. Associated states means the other mental states, so that they don't collapse. Here, in the sense that when they are supporting, that means it gives energy. For example, if it's connected with mindfulness, it gives energy to the mindfulness. It makes sure that the mindfulness is being aroused, and the mindfulness is keep it from not disappearing. To keep that mindfulness, to sustain the mindfulness as long as it can. So the nature of mindfulness is supporting, to exert. So support is associated states. Not only like mindfulness, it supports, as I said, if your mind is still noting of what is going on, then it's keep on associating, you keep on supporting, exerting that wisdom. So it gives energy to the wisdom, so that the wisdom can do its function, so that mindfulness can do its function. So all the associated states, mental states, can do their function, so that they don't collapse. So here, when it's manifestation here, when it's in a state of clear and strong and an optimal level, you can see that the noting aspect, the noting mind, which is it's able to go on and on and on, noting everything that's coming on the way. So this is the nature. Now, on the unwholesome side also, it's the same as supporting and so on. So here it supports, let's say, the sensual desire or the anger. And it supports that anger and makes that person to be angry for a long period of time. It keeps that anger burning. How? Because that effort provides the fuel for the anger to burn. To keep the anger active, or keep the sensual desire active, or keep that restless mind active. So here is support, and also in the sense that it doesn't let the anger to collapse. It doesn't let the sensual desire to collapse until condition changes. Okay, so this is what it means here. But here we want to bring that effort into the wholesome state part of it. Now, the cause here is this sense of urgency, samvega. Samvega here, it's it's like the state of mind that you arouse it when you get the mind. It starts to shake already, in the sense that the energy is coming in already, and then you want to start to do something. Here, in the sense of urgency, is connected to something wholesome. For example, like the sense of urgency, usually we connect it with the recollection on death, the mindfulness of death, maranasati, a recollection on death or mindfulness on death. Here, for example, when we do the mindfulness of death, and if you are sometimes lazy, don't want to meditate and so on, then you recollect, I'm not sure how long I'm going to live. Maybe tomorrow all the COVID coming in. Who knows? Every day we see the numbers, all the numbers is keep going up and up. Sometimes it makes a lot of fear to a lot of people. Every day, nowadays, as I said, I don't really go and watch the numbers, but I know somehow or another the numbers go up, because people are sending out all the messages which is connected to a lot of fear. But nevertheless, when we reflect on death, for example, in a right manner, in a wholesome manner, not in the morbid manner or in our Chinese type of culture manner, where they don't want to see death, they don't want to talk about death, and talk about everything with money, everything happy only. If that culture, our Chinese culture is that we cover part of it until when they go in the funeral or in the wake, we talk about it. Other times we don't talk about it. So here, as a Buddhist, we talk about it, or we reflect on it as much as we can. For example, when we reflect on the death, you sit down there. Say, for example, if you do as a meditation, you reflect that death can come in anytime. Or you reflect that life is uncertain, death is certain. But you have to truly understand those words that is being come out. It's being come out as a sentence on the mind. So you must able to truly understand it, that life is uncertain, death is certain, and you kind of feel it. When you feel it with mindfulness, you feel it with alertness, then it sort of arouse the energy to build up. Sometimes like this sense of urgency, once in a while I do it in the morning when there's a retreat on, because in the morning time, my mind is not able to stir up anything at all. Very dull, and you sit down there, rising, falling, also not so clear, a little bit here and there, but it's nothing much. And then after that, change to reflection on death. And then reflection on death, then life is uncertain, death is certain. I do not know when death will come, but death will surely come. How it will come, where it will come, when it will come, I do not know. But I know it will come. So when we reflect on it in such a way, then the mind gets stirs up. The mind gets stirs up, the energy comes in. The energy comes in, that is what we call the sense of urgency comes in. Sense of urgency can also come in, like, for example, you reflect on old age too, you reflect on old age, or you reflect on sickness. Also, it's possible. Or we reflect on karma too. For example, reflect on right now, since I'm not sick, since I'm not dying or dead, since I'm still able to have energy, able to produce mental energy, produce physical energy, then here, when I reflect on those things, since I have all these things, and my unwholesome karma is not ripening in a certain sense, so I do not know when the unwholesome karma is going to come. But right now, I'm still enjoying a wholesome karma. So if you reflect on that, you're still having a wholesome karma because you still have your health, you still have your body, the mind is still alert. Then, I must quickly go and meditate until enlightenment, before all my unwholesome karma catch up on me. Well, if it catch up on me, I do not know what it will come. It will cut my life short, or it will make me sick, or it makes me may have a lot of other duties and responsibility I have to take up. Then therefore I cannot able to have time to meditate. And that is also possible to arouse the samvega. So the urgency, the sense of urgency, which is good. The grounds for arousing energy, that anything that stirs one into vigorous action, Now this one can be unwholesome. Okay, this one can be unwholesome. It can be wholesome, it can be unwholesome too. Okay, it can be wholesome or it can be unwholesome, but it's usually sense of urgency. We use it for the wholesome part. Yeah? For the unwholesome, ground for arousing energy, anything that stirs one into vigorous action. Simple. How does your anger arises? You look at that fella you don't like. Ground for arising, grounds for arising your wrong mental effort. Then the anger arises. How does the desire arises? You can look at something very beautiful, very nice. This food is nice, and then you like it, attached to it. Then all these things, it arouses that wrong effort, and then it keep on sustaining the sensual desire, or it keeps sustaining the anger. Grounds for arousing energy. In the past, when I was in the early part of being a monk, I remember one time. I had a dream. I had a dream that I was having exam and I'm late for exam. Late for my, I don't know what, STPM or SPM exam, I forgot. But while you're late for exam, suddenly in the mind you're rushing everything, you're rushing. And then suddenly I wake up. And then the whole mind is sweating and the whole mind is so alert right now. It's so alert. And then wait. I said, wait, no. I'm a monk now. I'm no more study already. Study a really long time ago. I gave up already. But that energy still comes up, that urgency, that rush, that energy all comes up. So this says that usually the relevance of Jiva says this energy is always inside us. It's only when we know how to arouse it, then it will come up in the meditation, or even in anything that you do. So it's always inside there. It's only whether you know how to arouse it, stirs it up, then that energy will comes up. So sometimes something is like that. So in the state of when we are rushing, when we need to do something, the mind the energy you can able to arouse that mental energy. So too in the meditation, we need to have that able to arouse that mental energy, and not only that, we will need to sustain that energy, so that to keep it in the state of balance. Okay. Now this effort, you see, this subject of effort, if you are in Malaysia or in overseas or US or whatsoever, this topic of effort, it is not, we don't talk about it so much, but although we talk about it here and there, but when you go into Burma, or you go into Myanmar, especially like you are in the Vipassana circle, that those places that are connected to, that the Sayadaw or the teacher or the monks or the senior monks, when they give the Dhamma talk, almost every talk got effort. Almost every talk, you listen to the effort again and again and again and again and again and again. Every day got effort. Now the thing is that now, in the Myanmar culture, it is the nature of the Burmese culture is this. This is not what I've seen. This is what this is not only what I've seen. This is also what I read from the books in the some of the Dhamma books written by some of the Sayadaws. that they said that in the Burmese culture, the men are much more lazier than the women. Women is more energetic in the sense that now, for example, if you go into a market or a bazaar or anything that people have small business and so on, most of it is women who is running the show. Women is running the show. And the women also, in a sense that they able to provide for the family. Whereas the men, they will go to a coffee shop and then they lepak there, drink tea, talking, playing checkers. Many times I've seen these things. I go in different places of Burmese. If anyone is Burmese here, please forgive me for saying this. But the nature is that what we see, and also as I said, even the Sayadaws commented upon it. If you want to know a little bit, there's a book called Abhidhamma in Daily Life by Ashin Janaka Bhivamsa. This Janaka Bhivamsa is not that Chiame Sayadaw. It's another one. It translates from Burmese to English. So those type of scenario, when your culture it's in such a way, then therefore it is understandable that the Sayadaw or the teachers will keep on pushing and pushing and pushing on the yogis, because they know that the character of the people, or especially the men, are not so energetic. And we seen that also with my own eyes, especially when in the meditation centers. Whereas when you see if you sometimes the place is like one side is women meditating and one side male meditator meditating, and therefore when you look at the women, every hour, every sitting, they are there, walking, sitting, walking, sitting. But when you come to the men's side, sitting, they are all there. They're all there because they are afraid that the Sayadaw will come in and to see that anybody is not on the meditation seat, then the Sayadaw will go and look for you, and then if your excuse is no good, you ask you to pack your bags and you go back. But the women, not so much. The men, the Sayadaws and all that thing, they are very much more stern with the men. And then when you sitting time, so they're afraid of the Sayadaw, so they meditate, they sit. But when they come into the walking time, a lot of them disappear now. Because sometimes in the hall meditation center, they know which lubang they can go and hide there and go and chit-chat, talk, hello, hey, where you come from? Then, this type of chit-chat thing, they will come. Because that time I was a yogi, and sometimes I want to go to the toilet, I want to go to the toilet, and you will see them, a few of them sit down there, and then as you pass through into the toilet, and then, hey, hello, where you come from? And then you can see them sitting down there, chit-chatting and all that. They take it very easy. And then until the bell rings, okay, sitting time, then all of them will come back and sit again because they're afraid that the Sayadaw will catch them. But they know that when the walking time, the Sayadaw don't catch them. So they kind of like go into somewhere, hiding somewhere and talking and just looking here and there. They are not really meditating. We've seen that again and again and again and again and again. Everywhere we go, we see, especially in the men's area, but not so much in the female area. So that's why the talk on effort is very important to them. Now, on the other hand, on another time, when there's an international retreat going on, international retreat means that there are yogis from all over the world. They come in for that particular 1 month or 2 months or 3 months for retreat. And during in the international retreat too, then also of course there are Burmese are there and so on. Okay. Now, mostly it's international yogis. Now here again, now because the Sayadaws are very keen on giving the effort, so the Sayadaw will, out of maybe the habit, they also give the effort talks on effort to a lot of these international yogis. But international yogis, they're not so lazy-minded one. They're very like, you come all the way into Burma just to be lazy, man. No, you paid for so much already. You want to gain something from your meditation, right? So you're not going to be lazy. You more or less you want to meditate and so on. And not only that, and people from other places, their character itself, they are quite energetic. They are goal-getter. They are they have a very they have a very clear purpose in their life. They want to achieve that purpose, achieve that whatever goals that they set in their life. And so too, when they come into meditation, also the same thing. They already set their goal. Okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to meditate hard and so on. So their mind is not so. Their energy is there. But then, because of that, Sayadaw keep on giving them effort. Of course, when the Sayadaw give Dhamma talk, and then here also you get stirred up. Wow, effort. And therefore, after they meditate for about 2 weeks, these international yogis, and they get so much headache. Here headache, there headache, collapse, puncture. Why? Because they overdo. Now the Sayadaw give effort, my effort low, go chai pia lo, pia, do until 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a lot of them collapse. They thought that it's just like keep on pushing. Whereas for the Burmese, especially the men, they need to keep on pushing. So different culture have a different way of, the nature of the effort or concentration is very different. So we need to see who are they, who are the audience. Usually for Chinese, like most of you over here, we don't need to talk effort that much because that is inborn in you. For most of us, inborn in us. So the thing is that, you see, one part is that a group of people, they don't have enough effort, so they need a lot to stir up their effort. The other one, all they need to do is stir up the effort a little bit. After that, they reach to able to develop further. But if they overdo, then it's going to hit back to them, and then they kind of like burn out or puncture in somewhere in their meditation. So, but then when I was there in Burma, I read a lot of balancing of the faculties. I already know what is going on. Although I keep on learning, because there are minor things, but a lot of times there, when the effort is being taught or all these type of talks, I'm not so affected by it. Although I know how to balance and adjust as I keep on meditating along, but for a lot of people, they don't. We can see that. So therefore, it is important that we know where to balance the effort. Now, in the suttas, or many times we have gone through retreats, then they will quote you a sutta where the Buddha talked about the balancing of the faculties. This is called the Sona Sutta that you can find in Anguttara Nikaya. Books number 6, I think 55, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so, yes. Let me share with you a little bit. Sona Sutta. Okay. Can you all see? This one? Okay, good. Now here, it's called the Sona Sutta. All right. Wait. Okay. Now, I'm not going to read everything. I'm just read a part of it. Do the part of the balancing of the faculty will do. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha on Mount Vulture's Peak. Now on that occasion, the Venerable Sona was dwelling at Rajagaha in the cool grove. Then while the Venerable Sona was alone in seclusion, the following course of thought arose in his mind. I am one of the Blessed One's most energetic disciples. Yet my mind has not been liberated from the taints by non-clinging. Now there is wealth in my family, and it is possible for me to enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Let me then give up the training and return to the lower life so that I can enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Then having known with his own mind the cause of thought in the Venerable Sona's mind, just as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or draw in his extended arm, the Blessed One disappeared on Mount Vulture's Peak and appeared in the cool grove in the presence of Venerable Sona. The Blessed One sat down on the seat prepared for him. The Venerable Sona paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him, Sona, when you were alone in seclusion, didn't the following cause of the thought arise in your mind? I'm one of Blessed One's most energetic disciple, yet my mind has not been liberated from the taints by non-clinging. Now, there is wealth in my family, it is possible for me to enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Let me then give up the training and return to the lower life so that I can enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Yes, Bhante. Tell me, Sona, in the past when you lived at home, weren't you skilled at the lute? Yes, Bhante. What do you think, Sona? When the strings were too tight, was your lute well tuned and easy to play? No, Bhante. When its strings were too loose, was your lute well tuned and easy to play? No, Bhante. But Sona, when its strings were neither too tight nor too loose, but adjusted to a balanced pitch, was your lute well tuned and easy to play? Yes, Bhante. So too, Sona, if energy is aroused too forcefully, this leads to restlessness, and if energy is too lax, this leads to laziness. Therefore, Sona, resolve on the balance of energy, achieve evenness of the spiritual faculties, and take up object there. Okay? All right. Now, the rest of the sutta, we're not going to look into it because after that, Venerable Sona meditated, attained Arahant, and then he gave, express his understanding. Anyway, we're not going to go into that because it's quite a lot. Now, here, just to let you all know, this Venerable Sona here, although right now in this sutta, it is not mentioned the background of Venerable Sona. Now, Venerable Sona here, when he was a lay person, he was very delicately brought up. That means very popoy, very, very well looked after. Because the parents are very rich people, and he got the it says that he got a palace for the rainy season, palace for the hot season, palace like for the cold season, just like the Bodhisattva, when he was still as a prince. So Venerable Sona was something like this, so it's well delicately brought up. so delicately brought up that the feet, the soles of his feet is so soft, so soft that people actually came to request to look at his sole. It's so soft. Soft, like they try to describe it like a hibiscus petal or something like that in the in the commentaries. So the thing is that because it's so soft, then when he became become a bhikkhu, and now he wants to attain arahantship. So at the beginning part, he's mentioned that he's not able to attain arahantship, although he is a very energetic. And the Buddha says that Venerable Sona is the most energetic of all, And on this occasion, although this sutta it is not mentioned here, but in the Vinaya, it also mentioned this Venerable Sona, which connected to this sutta. And so this Venerable Sona meditate until, I think on other occasion, that Vinaya mentioned that this Venerable Sona meditate until starts to bleed up on the soul. There's a lot of bleeding that comes on the soul, as if like when you walk, there you get all the foot marks, foot marks that made of blood, made of blood. You step up on that, and then when the Buddha saw it, he says that it looks like somebody butchering a cow over here. So much blood, and still meditating. Yeah. You meditate a little bit, Bhante, your Bhante cannot walk already, and then give up already. Bhante, like that, cannot already. Bhante, it's too hot, I cannot walk. Bhante, the place is a bit cold, a bit windy, also cannot walk. People how much they walk until the blood coming out. Yeah. So anyway, which is interesting, you see. Because this one is a very energetic, although he brought up delicately, but as a bhikkhu, he pushed himself very far with all the energy. But the thing is that the problem is that here is that the Buddha didn't tell you. Yes, it tells you that too much energy. If the energy is around too forcefully, it leads to restlessness. Okay, if it aroused too lax, it leads to laziness. So resolve on the balance of energy. With this sharing with Venerable Sona, he knows what to do with it, If I were to tell it to you, or the teachers were to tell it to you, when you go actually in the meditation itself, you still mong cha cha. You still do not know what to do. What is too much energy? What is too lacking of energy? You do not know how to even to rebalance back the energy. Yeah. Now here, when it says balance the energy here, it also connected to samatha meditation also. And both vipassana and samatha are equally important. Not only in vipassana, although we talk about vipassana more, but samatha also, you have to recognize that this imbalance of faculty can take place. Now, okay. Again here, just put it, shorten these things. Imbalance of effort. Okay. Too much effort, you go into restlessness. Lack of effort, you go into indolence. That just now what we said. But as a meditator, if you are in a retreat, in a long retreat, not to say much about in the everyday 1 hour sitting, not talking about that, but talking about when you have 7 or 6 or 7 sittings per day, 5 or 6 walkings per day, then we don't want it to go until restlessness. How far we want to reach? We want you to reach, you see my cursor here, we want to reach until somewhere here. You can see the little cursor here. I put this one there. We don't want to reach until restlessness. Somewhere in the middle, you must know how to rectify your problem so that it can able to go into balance already. We don't want you to have lacking of effort, then until the laziness comes in. We want to know that a lack of effort is coming. Do something before the laziness comes in. So somewhere in the middle, we have to cut it off before it reach laziness. We cut it off before it reach restlessness. Because those things already you go into sloth and torpor, already go into hindrances. So too much effort, you are here as a meditator, too much effort, we don't want it to go into restless, but you know that too much effort is already coming up. Then with that, you already change your course into go into balance. That it's difficult to teach. That is something that is not easy to teach. This is something like, a number of you, for example, you can able to bake a cake or bake bread or something like that, right? How much water and the flour to mix together in order that when it comes and you bake everything, things become fluffy. Now it takes you some time of practice. Before you put it into the oven, you must know that how much you have to press and touch and so on. You think that, okay, this is good enough already. And this only come in by training and training and training until you know that this is the right amount of flour and the right amount of water. If you ask me to do it, see, if all the bread gone, you'll be come out as like a brick. Or you come out, you cannot able to rise or whatever. So all this mixture of everything, it comes with again training again and again and again until you get it right. You know a little bit more. You know a little bit more water. You know less water a little bit. And then only it comes up in the right amount. So too is the same thing in the meditation. And in meditation, it's even more delicate than that. Because everything is happening in the mind only. Everything is happening in the mind. Okay, so let us look into it a little bit. What is the nature when it's too much effort? When you meditate, when it's too much effort, then one of the clear signs is that your thinking part starts to come up already. It hasn't gone into restlessness, it hasn't gone into strong restlessness like agitation and all that. But sort of like a little bit of thoughts coming up already. Initially, for example, you watch your rising and falling. You watch. Everything is going well. Then after that, you begin to notice floating thoughts keep on passing through. Thoughts about this, thoughts about that, thoughts about coming in. But it's not affecting your noticing yet. It's not. You can still able to notice, but at the background, you begin to know the thoughts is already starts coming up at that point already. That means the symptoms or the signs of energy is already slightly higher already. But you are not going into restlessness yet. So if you're able to know what is happened, that means you're already able to cut it off from there, goes back to the noticing the rising and falling, and then the mind becomes quiet. You see what I mean here? This is what we call a minute change, just a minute noticing of that thing happening. Then is already your mind able to cool down into noticing the object again clearly without much of that floating process passing through here and there. So this is one thing. Now, if you already gone into restlessness, if you able to, you were noticing your rising, falling, and so on, or in breath, out breath, and then if you are not careful, your mindfulness is not sharp enough, or you become very attracted to the thoughts that comes up. You're thinking about tomorrow, think about the past, think about something that you have not done. Then the whole attention drops into the thinking mind, and then it goes into restlessness. That time you have to deal, like we talk about it in the hindrance. Yeah? Dealing with the hindrance also, it's also in the sense that we try to rebalance back the mind, but it's connected with the unwholesome mind. The restlessness is there, the hindrances is there. But here, as a balance of faculty, we don't want to reach until hindrances. We want it to just before hindrance. We want to turn back to make into balance already. So one of the sign is that you begin to more aware of that little thoughts that's coming up in the sitting, for example. Then you go back to your breath, or you go back to this one, and then you cool down. And sometimes all you need to do is just relax the mind a little bit in the noting of rising and falling, or relax just a little bit tiny on the in breath, out breath. Then things gets better again. But the thing is that when I say relax a little bit, if you do not know what to do, then you relax too much, and then you go lack into effort, and you go into laziness. Yeah. So you do not, again here, it's a matter of experience. It's a matter of experience. You just need to know, just to bring the mind down to the optimum level. Yeah? Just to bring the mind down to the optimum level. So this is one thing. Okay? Now, what else can you do? What else? What are the signs? What other signs that's coming up? Another one is like, for example, your body starts to tension. Your body starts to tension. Again here, is it tension because of imbalance of faculty? Or is it your mind is still in a state of balance, but the dukkha sensation is coming up to let you see? Then it becomes difficult for us to able to to distinguish these two. Again, let me rephrase. Let me go through it again. Now, tension, if sometimes, like for example, the tension comes up, is because sometimes the mind becomes too energetic, and then the bodily tension starts to become tense. Or your mind is still in a state of balance, but the tension comes up on its own, or the unpleasant sensation come up on its own. So the second one, this is not due to imbalance of faculty. This is because your mind is alert, your mind is clear, you're able to notice what is going on. Then you have to keep on noting that pain or that tension or whatever that's going on. Now the first one has a slightly different way of looking at that tension. That tension, when it comes in, your mind is like starting to have a lot of thinking or doubt and just unable to settle already. Slightly there's a lot of thinking, and after some time you notice that this type of tension is keep on building up. You just able to pull the mind back a little bit, then the whole tension just drop. Now, what can we do? What can we do when the tension of the body arises due to this imbalance of faculty, especially when it's too much effort? Now, before we say about how we can able to overcome it, one of the things that I've seen in yogis, just now earlier on I said yogis drop off from the meditation, or the yogis puncture because they push a lot, too much effort. When you are in the third week or second week or fourth week in the meditation, when you go into a long retreat, some yogis keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. And imagine that your whole day trying to meditate, and just a little bit of your energy to go forward, to go too much, then it accumulates up from sitting into walking, into sitting, into walking, into sitting, into walking, until 3 or 4 days later, the whole tension comes up so strongly until for example, like the neck and shoulders, the body, the headache, you just cannot function. You just cannot meditate. That's where you puncture. That's where, because of that, people give up on the meditation, because every time they come back into retreat, the same habit they apply, the same way of meditation they apply, come into the second week, get stuck in the all the tension. In the all this tension, they get stuck and then they give up. So, and it can be severe, and there are people, there are yogis who went back with migraine instead of mindfulness. Yeah, and you can see the doctor some more. Yeah. And there are yogis also. There are yogis, there are monks and so on. They totally gave up. They thought that this vipassana cannot work on. It give me headache only. Something wrong with the meditation. It's not something wrong with the meditation, something wrong with you lah. They blame the meditation. Fantastic. So that's why it's difficult. So what do we do when this type of tension arises? When this type of tension arises, that it comes with the imbalance of faculty. Now here, when the energy is too much, when you try to push, for example, when you are doing walking, when you're doing walking, right step, left step, or lifting, pushing, dropping, while you're still noticing the whole sensation of the feet, then you begin to notice that your thighs or your calf or your shoulders or your body, it starts to like cramming and tense up and tense up. Initially, you thought that, okay, you may still able to hold on, okay, but then as you go into that walking, that especially the slower phase of the walking, and you notice that the whole body is keep on pulling, and after that it affects your noticing already, because you cannot really notice the sensation, and then also you cannot really noticing the movement of the tension of the body that is building up. You're neither here nor there. So the yogis sometimes they thought that, hey, just keep pushing, just keep pushing, just lifting, pushing, dropping, just keep on going. That is where the recipe of the whole thing become totally imbalanced. So what you should do now, during in the walking meditation is easier. You find that the situation in that way, all you need to do is go a little bit faster. Yeah. Some people kiasu one, meditation also they kiasu also. Because they thought that, okay, I want to ngenge. When once I hit the lifting, pushing, dropping, there's no such thing as turning back, reverse gear, Yeah, I must reach until the lifting, pushing, dropping until the time up. Wow, no matter what the condition is. So they grit their teeth and then they go, yeah, go until pao cha. Go. That's a recipe of you getting into a lot of all this problem. So again here, it's like when you do in the walking meditation, this is the time for you to relax a little bit. Go back to your second phase. Go back to your first phase. Now, when you go back to your first phase, second phase, what you can do is that you take note of you forget about the lifting, pushing, dropping. You take note of the upper body a little bit. Take notice of the upper body. Rearouse the mindfulness again. Because the mindfulness takes, when it takes a prominent object, a big object, the mindfulness is easy to come in. So build up on that first. Take a while for you to relax. Not in the relax in the sense that we forget about noting, but you're still aware of what is happening to the body in a general manner, in a wide manner, and in a slightly faster walking. Then when you do that for a while, let's say you take about 10 minutes, you cool off already, and then you find that, okay, the mind is more or less quite balanced, and then you slowly go down slower again, and then after that, you rebalance it. So this is what we meant, balance the faculties with mindfulness. So here, sometimes the energy is too much. We just learn to drop the energy a little bit. And at the same time, we arouse that mindfulness, or we keep aware of that mindfulness to sustain that mindfulness, build up the mindfulness. When the mindfulness gets balanced, then the whole walking meditation will slowly slow down again, or it begins to able to notice better. And at time, the tension and the pulling of the body becomes so much more almost not there. Then you can able to meditate better. Now, once in a while doesn't mean that every walking meditation that's free from all this tension here and there. Sometimes there are tension pulling here and there, a little bit here and there. That time you have to bear it up, because it does not affect the noticing mind. When it affects the noticing mind, then something that we need to change already. But if it does not affect, it is just at the background and you are doing walking meditation, then you just continue whatever that you are doing. You see? This is what we call the balance of the faculty. One of the ways to balance the faculty. What do you do when in a sitting meditation? In a sitting meditation, when you are sitting down, the whole tension is building up. The whole tension is building up. Now, sometimes what you can do is to build the concentration also. We can build that concentration. Sometimes the tension build up due to the imbalance of faculties, and then the thoughts starts coming in a little bit here and there. You know that the mind is agitated already. Then what you do is that you bring the attention to a one-pointed aspect of object. You don't move around already this time, Here, for example, you just stay with the rising and falling. You stay with the rising and falling. You don't go to other object. Just stay in one object for now. You just stay in one object. Just rise and fall, and you're aware of it gently, clearly, what is going on. Some people, when they do it very quickly, the whole tension and the whole slight restlessness, then it's already gone. Now, if you are doing a in breath, out breath, also you can able to do that. Not a problem. Then all you need to do is just send the whole attention back to the in breath, out breath. Stay there for a while, just in, out, and after that, when things are clear, everything is balanced again. Then you go back to the whole more vigorous noting. This is how you do this. Or sitting and touching also is a very good aspect of it. A lot of times we don't do sitting and touching because, again, here sitting and touching is not a moving object. It's more of a stationary object, but it still can be used. Now, when the energy is too much, and you know that the mind is a bit restless, tension, you're not able to note things quite well, not so clear anymore. Then if you find that this is a bit too much, then what you do is that you send the attention, you bring the whole attention to one spot where it is clear. For example, if let's say this time the buttock is clear to you, just send the mind into that buttock. While the attention is on the buttock, then this time you label it gently. Sitting, 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 sitting. At the same time, you notice the characteristic of the sitting. For example, there may be a bit of tension, a bit of warmness. I just notice it in that sense. Then the mind goes into a bit of thinking, tension, and just slowly, gently bring back to the buttock area, for example, or to the hand area, your hands here. Also possible, but more or less like stay at the one area. When you see the nature of the mind, if you stay in one area and then you keep the mind there, it arouses concentration. Concentration only. But you, as I said, you must also able to arouse that mindfulness. Arouse the mindfulness, that means you begin to see into its characteristic. That means hardness or softness that you can notice, or the warmness or coldness if you notice at the hand area. At the same time, you are staying in one place. Okay, that is concentration. You notice this characteristic as it moves here and there, then that is mindfulness. So both together have to come together in order to overcome the slight imbalance of the faculty that's coming up. Yeah? Again here, you got to try it. Although right now I say it, next, if you don't try it, you will definitely forget. If you tried it, this one, you can able to do it. Then of course, here you need teacher to help you to sort of like make it more, make it finer, in the sense that make it more, whether you're doing it right or wrong, whether you need to have more understanding of how to doing it, that it really needs a teacher to guide you actually. Just like when you do your dough, if you're going to watch the YouTube one, nobody guide you, you just simply do, it doesn't come up. So you need a teacher for this part, this area, in order for the mind to readjust itself. So to give you an idea how the finer aspect of faculties we are dealing with it, then we will see, in the next talk also, we will talk about how to adjust, so on and so forth. Okay? All right. I think we'll stop here for now, and then we'll continue a little bit more on the effort. And on Sunday, and on Friday we have a Q&A session. If you are new, then you send your questions to Sister Hun Ling in the chat here. Or you send the question to Sister Hun Ling. The phone number is in the chat right now. Okay. All right.